Well, hi everyone and welcome to Rob Evans 365. It's day number 415 and currently I am driving myself to the airport because I am travelling up to Brisbane today. Beautiful sunny Brisbane. It's about 10 degrees warmer there, and I caught a glimpse on the news this morning that it's nice and sunny there. So I'm looking forward to getting some sun on my skin and when I get up there, and some warmth, because it's, I don't know, getting a little bit tired of the cold, I have to say. So I've just left home, got about an hour trip to the airport, and I dropped the car off at a long-term car park away from the airport. It's undercover and everything. They do a good job. It's nice and cheap, cheaper than the airport as well. They look after the car, and then I'm off for a midday flight. So this is the thing about travel. I live about 75 k's from the centre of Melbourne, and the airport's, I don't know what it is, probably another, 20 k's maybe, on the other side of the city. And that means for me to get from where I am right now to the airport, I have to go through our major thoroughfare here called the Monash Freeway, which during the week and during peak hours is an absolute nightmare. It's such a busy road, and it makes a very challenging peak hour. So I'm not travelling in peak hour, so that's cool. But I have to travel through that. I have to go through the tunnels, cross over so many major, potential bottlenecks in traffic, and then I have to get onto another freeway to go over a bridge to the other side of the city, and then get on another freeway to get into the airport. So there's 3 potential areas where it can all go wrong. So it's 9:13 right now. My flight leaves at, I think it's 12:15 actually, or 12. I've already done the electronic check-in and all that kind of stuff. But, you're at the mercy of the road, aren't you? It's starting to rain too, and whenever it rains here, especially in peak hour, it just shuts down the freeway. People just panic and don't drive properly. So I like to allow plenty of time just in case there is roadworks, accidents, whatever, so that I can get there on time. I hate being late. So it is Saturday, and most people are thinking, oh, you're going to Brisbane for a holiday and stuff. I said, no, I'm going to Brisbane for work. And I'll be working all day today, I'll be working all day tomorrow, and all day Monday, and catching a late flight back to Melbourne. And I won't get back home until possibly 1 a.m. or something like that, because of just how far away I live. But it's worth it to get the coaching from JT, to talk to his team, network opportunities. You just don't know. And it's funny, it's almost 1 year to the day that I did my first big JT event up in Brisbane, which was called the Dream Team. And I'm sure I'll be catching up with some of the people that I met in that room 12 months ago. Some I network with since, but I'm sure there'll be others that I haven't seen for a while, and it'll be good to catch up with them. So looking forward to that. Today, no coaching today, but what I do before I go on one of these trips, this is a great opportunity to do nothing, isn't it? I mean, you can jump on the plane, you can do nothing, you can watch movies, you can do whatever, you can sit at the airport and just, watch senseless stuff on YouTube, or just, the day just goes by so quickly. Or you can do what I do, and that is, before I leave, I plan what it is that I'm going to use this time for strategically to help move me forward as a better person, better coach, and better business. How can I keep moving those things forward? So I have, and then there's a couple of other things I do. I have remote access to my computer, which is great. So I take my laptop with me so that I can, when I get to the motel or if I'm stuck in the airport or whatever, I can dial in remotely to the computer if I need to. I can, do various bits of work that are just easy to do on a laptop than on the phone. And so I can do that. So I take that. I also make sure that I download or copy all the files that I need to be working on while I'm away. And I put those onto a USB disk. That doesn't make sense. Like a USB storage thing. And carry that with me, which actually, do you know what? Having just said that, do you know what I have just done? I've copied all those files onto there and I've left it plugged in to the computer. So all is not lost because I do have remote access, so I can dial in to get those things. I do it on USB because where you go to these motels, the Wi-Fi can be really, really bad. The last couple of motels I've been to, it's been so slow. So obviously having those files on USB makes it so much easier. So that's a pain, but especially given I spent 10 minutes this morning copying them on there, working out which ones I needed, but never mind, I can still access them remotely. But before I do all of that, I work out, okay, often I will go away and I think, okay, I've got to do these 5 things while I'm away, and I come back and I've maybe done 1 or 2 of them, mainly because, things might take longer for me to do, or I work on something else instead. That it's mainly the thing takes longer. So this time, what I've said is that I've got a couple of things that I want to be working on, and I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So some of them are one of them is getting some ideas to write a new article that I need to do for this magazine I write for in Europe. One of them is to work on growing another side of my business, and so doing some planning for that, some marketing type planning, so marketing calendar, that kind of stuff. And the other one is just planning out some more of my next 30 days. Oh, well, it's not 30 days now, it's day 3 now, but so the next 29 days of my challenge. And that's it. Now you might think, oh, well, that doesn't sound like much, but it actually is when you think about the depth that I'm going to go to in these things. And I would rather do, 3 things well than, 5 things kind of only a little bit. So that's what I've done. I always make sure that I set myself with focused tasks while I'm away so that I make the most of this time, because my schedule is so busy that you could say, well, yeah, you just want to rest when you're away. And I go the other approach and try and get some balance in there and say, well, actually, do you know what? This is a great time for me to do these things where I don't get those big chunks of time. So what I will do today is I'll be working from when I get to the airport, once I get, checked in and settled and all that kind of stuff, to working on the plane. It's a 2 hour, maybe it's 2 hour 25, something like that, 2 hour flight. Working on the plane, and I'll be working when I'm, I'll be working at the airport, waiting for the plane in the lounge and stuff, and then I'll be working on the plane. Then I will be catching a train to into the city of Brisbane, and then walking to where I'm staying, which should be only a relatively short walk. And so I've got a big case, so I don't want to be lugging that too far. It's just awkward through traffic. And then I will be checking into the room. They've got a nice gym there, per their website anyway. So they've got a really nice gym there. So I would like to do a bit of a workout later. And also just go for a walk in the afternoon. And then I'll do some work tonight. And then I'll have an earlier night tonight. But I'll probably work up until 7 o'clock, something like that. Maybe catch a movie if there's something on TV. so that I maybe just unwind a little bit. So I don't get a chance to unwind that often. So I would like to do a little bit of that as well. So I've got a full day planned, but this is the time that I love taking to move things forward, because I'm traveling by myself, and it's just a great opportunity. So I'm looking forward to that. Feeling a little bit tired this morning. I set the alarm for 5 o'clock this morning, so I was feeling a little bit tired. I did go to bed half an hour earlier last night. I think it was 10:05 when I would have hit the sack, and I woke up at 4:33 because my body is so conditioned to it. I thought, oh no, I've slept through the alarm. Then I rolled over and saw it was 4:33. I thought, actually, no, you haven't. You've still got a little bit of time. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just snoozed there for a bit until just just before 5, and so I feel a little more refreshed, but I'm still a bit tired. It's been a pretty full on last few weeks for me. So I'd like to take some time out to relax a bit today. So the main topic I wanted to talk to you about today, it's consistent with what I'm about to do, and that is get on a plane. And I wanted to talk about nutrition and my challenge and journey and what I'm doing over the next few days. I'll talk about it maybe in a bit more detail as each day goes by, but today, like traveling on the plane. So, how do you cope with that, your meals and all that kind of stuff? Well, it's not too bad for me because I always plan very carefully. So I've had my breakfast this morning, which was my mixed berry smoothie, vanilla smoothie, and that went down really nicely. When I get to the airport, I'll be having my morning tea, which is going to be a isogenics bar, protein bar, which is super yum. I love them so much. So I have that chocolate decadence. It's sensational. I'm going to have that, and then I'll probably have another small snack of something. I've got like a fibre snack. I might have that before I get on the plane. So I've got 3 hours between now and then. Now, one of the things is, this is interesting. You may not know this, but did you know that, well, hang on before I talk about that. Hydration is a big thing when you're flying. And I heard this many years ago, especially when you're flying a long flight. Now, this isn't a really long flight, but it's a few hours. Being at the altitude and everything, I find that my skin definitely dries out. So I moisturise every day. A bit of a skin tip of mine for you. So I make sure that I moisturise well before I get on a plane. But then I also make sure that I'm very well hydrated too. So that means domestically, I'm allowed to take my drink bottle onto the plane. Internationally, I'm not allowed to take it on to the plane, which is a real pain. So what I do is I make sure that I've got my water bottle filled when I get onto the plane. I'll drink that, sip that constantly as I'm traveling, making sure that maybe I'm getting in, over a 2-hour flight, at least 750 ml, which is the whole drink bottle. Getting that in on the whole flight, and then making sure that I'm hydrating well for the rest of the day as well. I don't think it's really great for you to be travelling all the time in an aeroplane. You're surrounded with so much radiation, with all the wiring and everything that's in the plane itself. But I certainly find internationally, drinking lots and lots of water to keep you hydrated definitely does help with the jet lag. It definitely does. So I make sure I do that. So one of the tips, already this morning, I'm feeling a little bit dehydrated. What are the signs for me? I suppose tongue feels a little bit drier. The roof of my mouth feels a little bit drier too, and I am a little bit thirsty. So I've already had quite a bit of water. I guess it's a double-edged sword. When you drink lots of water, you get to that stage in the day where you just have to constantly keep going to the toilet. So I'll probably have to go while I'm on the flight. And that's why I like to book an aisle seat so I can get up and move around as I see fit. But the extra thing that I've done today is I've put, again, an isogenics product, their hydration powder. I've put that in my drink bottle, and I'm actually drinking it now in my 750 mils. And that is going to help me stay more hydrated when I'm on the flight. So it's just an extra little tip and an extra little thing that I'm doing today. Now, here's the thing I was going to say before. Did you know that the meals that they serve you on the plane, now you could question how good they are and that kind of stuff. Somebody years ago told me that if you want to eat healthier on the plane, always order the kosher meal if you can. Not gluten-free or anything like that, but order the kosher meal, and that tends to be about the freshest, healthiest one that you can get. But they actually put things in the food, so like more sodium and God knows what else, so that you will not go to the toilet as often when you're on the plane. And I'm talking about number twos here, because if you imagine an international flight, so the plane that I catch to go to LA, I don't know how many hundreds of people it fits on it, but it's a lot of people. I don't know, it's 1,000 people or something, I don't know, but it's a lot. And because it's a double-decker one, and it's impressive technology, I have to say, to get that beast off the ground. But imagine if you've got 1,000 people, 500 people, all pooing at the same time. Well, that's not possible because of the toilets, but you know what I mean. Then that causes some issues. So to help with the toilet system, they make sure that they put things into your food so that you don't go as much. I bet you didn't know that. Have you ever noticed that when you're on the plane, I don't know about you, but I don't think I have ever been on a plane and done number twos. I drink plenty of water, so I'm flushing everything out, but when it's an international flight, the last international flight I took was 16 and a half hours, or 6 hours 50 minutes, and I did eat their meals. Like I had the breakfast and lunch. I mean, you just can't carry enough food with you to satisfy those things, so that's what I did that time. This year I might do it a bit differently. So I've packed my shakes to have for breakfast. I'll get some fruit and stuff when I'm there. I'll get some salads when I'm there as well for my meals, and that's how I'll be taking care of myself. Monday's a cleanse day for me, so that makes it easier with the travel and food and stuff. It's one less thing I have to worry about. I find food can be a real challenge when you travel. Domestically, it's okay. I mean, we can find supermarkets fairly close by to the places that I go to anyway, so you can get some the foods that you want. But when you're in airports and on the planes and so forth, you've really got to plan ahead, which is why I've taken what have I got in my bag right now? I've got a bunch of stuff in my suitcase, but in my bag that I'm going to carry on with me, I have, I think, 4 different healthy isogenic snacks, because I can't take fruit, so I've got to make sure it's packaged. So really healthy snacks with me, so that if, let's just say, for instance, there's a problem with the flight, I always plan extra if the flight's going to be delayed or whatever. So I've always got those extra snacks with me, so I'm not relying on someone else. So that's how I have planned my trip this morning. And I've brought all my supplements with me, my my fish oil, my steroids that I need to keep taking for my shoulder. I've got 3 more days of those left, I think. My vitamin D tablets, all of those things, any of my isogenics products that I need, and they're all with me as well. So I make sure that I've travelled enough now to know what I need to pack, and I just do it quite efficiently. I put it all in a hard container, like a big clip-lock container, so that it's all protected. So if something, there's another case or something comes crashing down on mine, that's not going to cause me any issues. So that's how I do it. So I'm starting to get a bit hungry, actually, so I am looking forward to my snack. Can't reach it right now, but I am looking forward to that when I get to the airport and get myself sorted. So yeah, it's overcast here. It looks like a dreary sort of day here. What is it? Oh, it's 12 degrees here. I'll be going to 22 degrees, an extra 10 degrees. Lovely. Another travel tip, actually, that I will give you is I do wear compression socks when I'm traveling. And I think the ones that I have on right now as I pull them up a little bit, are starting to lose some of their compression. These are ones I actually wore when I had my shoulder surgery. I just recycle them because I don't suffer from DVT, deep vein thrombosis, but I do find that my feet definitely swell up even on an hour kind of trip. So I like to make sure that I don't have any issues. Why take a risk? And I just put on the high tops, pressure socks, and they serve me very well. And again, I think certainly on a long trip, I definitely need them. I think they help me with the jet lag. So that's one of the other things that I do. All right, so I'm going to leave you to it. I feel like I've hardly gotten anywhere on this trip so far, but I'm getting closer to the city and looking forward to the trip. And I will report to you live from Brisbane tomorrow. So you have a great day, have a great Saturday, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.